threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Hey, Cam. Do you know that it's almost been 5 years since we started doing this podcast?
I know, when you, listened to something today, I was like, 5 years?
Yeah, dude. Pretty nuts, huh?
Man.
We're like a month and a half away or something like that, or maybe 2 months.
That's insane.
Yeah. So today we have a very special episode.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of commemorating that,
It is.
right? What are we talking about?
So we figured we would just give you guys a rundown of what have we learned doing this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
How's it changed us? And has it made us better people? Are we going to church every Sunday? Are we just we're just wanting to talk about kind of like a question and answer for ourselves.
Yeah.
Somewhat of, what have we gotten from all of this, and where have we come, where are we going, and things like that.
Who are we, Cameron?
Yeah. So
we're excited.
What have we learned from this
It should be fun.
podcast, huh?
You know what I've learned? The one thing I've learned is that most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use. But not BattleBox. It's the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received
this time.
This month. What?
You'll know this time.
Oh, yeah. The Dango Wallets A10 Adapt. Ooh, yeah, that's good. I almost read this nutsack, but it's Nustat.
I would buy it if it was a nutsack.
Hemostatic gauze dressing. You can't get enough of that stuff.
No.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All this badassness starts at just $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That is trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. You're going to get your first battle box, and you're going to get a free knife when you use our code.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Who doesn't want nutsack hemostatic gauze dressing?
You got to get one. You really do.
Listener reviews starts now.
Hey.
This one's touched my soul.
I didn't read it that well, so maybe I'll be touched as you read.
You saved this submarine sailor.
Oh, gosh.
Upon discharge from the service, honorable, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I spiraled down a hole of darkness. Years later, I stumbled onto this thing. This podcast is unique. The mindless banter and stupid accents are absolutely hilarious. There's a part about a coloring book and a maze that had me pulling over just to laugh so hard. That was a ways back.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
You both pulled me out of that dark place with your humor and gave me a new little hobby.
Jeez.
Thank you so much for what you do. And remember, don't drink and drive because you might hit a bump and spill your drink.
Jeez, that was a good one. That kind of did touch me a little bit.
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I'm like, man,
wow.
I'm glad that we...
yeah.
Thanks for your service, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Macaretto91837. You're the man. Thanks for the 5-star review. If you want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Well, I mean, there's so much crap to choose from in the news. Did you see the new, the pyramid-shaped UFOs that they said were real? Holy crap, man.
I was so overwhelmed. This morning, I was looking through Mad Men. I'm like, geez, what's happening?
We could just do a whole episode on crazy Mad World stuff.
We really could.
I saw this one a couple of days ago, and I thought it was kind of interesting. The headline read, Israelis' cyber attack on Iranian nuclear facility so severe the facility might be down till 2022. Ooh.
Yeah, when I was looking at that came up several times.
That I just
2020.
It's crazy that how countries are attacking each other now, and cyber war is like a huge aspect of everything that they do. And so obviously Israel's not too hip on Iran and their nuclear bombs and whatnot. So They attacked their facility, and it was a big deal. Apparently, there was two intelligence officials briefed on the damage said it had been caused by a large explosion that completely destroyed the independent and heavily protected internal power system that supplies the underground centrifuges that enrich uranium. I don't know how they did that, but that's awesome.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
really.
That's pretty cool, man.
The other parts he had in here had cracked me up when I read them, though.
Oh yeah,
because Israel's right here. The strike came only days before our Iranian officials bragged about the nation's National Nuclear Technology Day.
Oh my gosh!
And then the Russians are like, "Nah, you don't brag about it."
It was Israelis. It wasn't Russians this time.
It wasn't Russians that hacked into it?
No, it was Israelis.
Oh, I thought it was Russians. I thought that's why the United States was coming down hard on Russia.
It was Israel. Well, no, they're coming down hard on Russia for all the other where they're amassing at the border.
Oh, Israel cyberattack.
Ukraine.
For some reason, that was all in Israel. I was like, the
really,
Russians.
You can usually say it's Russians. They probably had something to do with it.
I guarantee you.
I'm sure they did.
Russian spy in there.
Yeah. So I just thought that one's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, you're boasting about it?
I know.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
This has been paranoid me a little bit, so I'm just going to share it with you.
Okay.
You talked a little bit about it with the earthquake in Iceland with that fagmajazzle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So this was in March. A swarm of 20,000 earthquakes have kind of passed through Iceland in the last month. And then just recently, we've had multiple earthquakes reported across Texas just the last couple of days.
Oh, geez.
It just makes it just worries me that there's all this shifting and moving. And then we've got a volcano in St. Vincent, and we have all those going off that haven't gone off forever. I'm like, are we or
is it the Yellowstone caldera that's going to blow?
That's the one right there. There's that one, or it's just the San Andreas Fault. Any of those just shift, and it's just we could have a massive earthquake this year.
What is the one? The New Madrid Fault? That's another one back east, right? I mean, there's ooh, that is creepy.
Yeah, we're sitting on a broken
because we're due for a big one, probably, right?
We really are.
San Francisco, what was it? 1906 or something? The last big one, or there's one in the 80s though, right? Wasn't there?
That was the World Series one, yeah.
Was it? Okay.
During the World Series.
Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, it's just and then we had one in LA, 2 or 3 weeks ago? There was just a little one.
Oh, that's right.
I know they have them all the time, but it just seems like it's kind of ramping up and all these volcanoes are starting to spout off.
Oh, man.
It just makes me scared because that's a very real SHTF for us here.
For sure. Yeah, that's a big one.
Vernal, and so anyway.
Did you see the thing I shared out on social media the other day? So there was a volcano that had erupted somewhere on some island.
It's the St. Vincent one.
Is that the one? Mm-hmm. And they were getting people off the island, but they were separating people who were vaccinated and the people who weren't. That creeps me out so bad. I don't like it at all. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not any of that stuff. You want to get the vaccine? Go ahead. Yeah. I don't care.
There's just timing for it. And
I
know.
That creeps me out, man.
Yeah. Show me your card and I'll take you to freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
weird.
Cameron, a date that will go down in history, June 8th, 2016. It's a very important date. It's November 5th, 1955. You know what I mean? Everybody remembers that date. But that was the date that we published our first episode of the Casual Preppers podcast, right?
It was June 8th. Huh?
June 8th, 2016. So that's been 5 years almost.
2 days after my anniversary.
Is that what it was?
Wow, that's crazy. I remember it better than my anniversary.
You probably do.
Honey, we got to celebrate, go out to dinner, and she gets all excited. Podcast started.
First day, first podcast released.
What?
So it's obviously been kind of a crazy ride for us over the past 5 years. And we thought it would be kind of interesting for us to look back and say, okay, when we started this podcast, what were things like for us, as preppers?
Go listen to the first 5 episosts and you'll see where we were.
Oh boy. Yeah. I don't even want to, man.
I know.
I just don't.
I had to listen to one because I was just trying to look at ideas. And I was like, how did anyone make it? How did we make it?
I have no idea. I'm glad we persevered through that, but
it was pretty painful.
It was bad. So we kind of wrote ourselves some questions that we both kind of wrote down some answers to. When we started, where were we as preppers? How have things evolved throughout the years? What kind of tips and tricks have we learned? What kind of things do we do differently now? We thought it could be beneficial for you guys.
I'm sure some of you had some changes based on getting into prepping and
for sure.
because you guys have given us some awesome ideas. So.
It's always awesome to kind of look back. I've been talking with a few people about this lately, like how different. Nobody you know, like how like 10 years ago, I was a completely different person.
Yeah.
Right, than I am today. Like completely different.
Yeah.
Even 5 years, it's way different.
All the hairs turn white.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
All the hair. But it's just kind of, I think it's a good thing, especially as preppers, to look back and say, hey, man, I'm getting better as a prepper.
I think that's really important too, because sometimes you're like, I'm no better off now than I was then. But when you sit down and think about
look
all the
how many
things
knives I've got.
Yeah.
No volcanoes coming to me.
6 miles of paracord. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Good luck getting to me. So we've got some questions. We're just going to kind of go through them and have a discussion about them as we go. So the first one we wrote down was, where were we with our prepping and our skill when we started the podcast 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Let's start from the beginning. Like, where were we when we started?
Yeah.
How about you, Cam? Where were you?
So I grew up. We've talked about this before. It's not like I didn't grow up in a family that wasn't trying to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
My mom bottled and had food storage in down in the basement.
All the milk you could drink.
Yeah.
Really. Right.
And so they've always done. They bought in bulk and had some prepared, so they don't have to go to town. And I think it helped too that we lived far from town.
Yeah.
So it's like we need to be stocked up on these things so we don't have to go to town more often, and if we can't get to town or any issue like that. So it was already kind of in my blood at that point. But but for me myself, like my wife and I, we had like 72-hour kits and things like that, but it's not like I had a plan at all.
Yeah.
It was just like, I can live for 72 hours.
That's
I
your
know
plan.
that. We got 2 of them. We can go further.
Yep.
And I didn't have any plan. Nothing around it. Yes, I was prepared and I thought about preparedness, but I was nowhere near.
Yeah.
I couldn't have lasted more than 2 weeks.
Oh, there's no way.
If we had a shut off,
Yeah.
lost power grid and all that, I'd be in trouble. I would have been in trouble.
And to think about that, we kind of, at that point, we considered ourselves somewhat preppers, right? And even then,
Yeah, we kind of did.
like we weren't, we were so ill prepared. Like
Right.
it's insane.
We were 3-day preppers.
And think about where most people are that aren't preppers. Like even worse than that, right?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Tons.
If you think about it. So when we started, I had been prepping in some fashion, really the same as Cam. Like my family, had the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Cam's probably, your family's probably a little more doing that type of stuff, but we hunted and there, things like that. But once I got married, we had a little bit of stuff like, we got a bunch of stuff like food storage when we got married from family, which is such a weird gift for a wedding gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got a bunch of it.
We did. I remember getting that too.
Yeah, it's just so funny. So we had like some really basic food storage. We didn't really have much water or anything like that before that. A few things I distinctly remember is I didn't carry a knife every day. My dad was trying to get me to do it forever. You know what I mean? Like he'd buy me a knife and I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks, Dad.
Where's that knife I got you?
Yeah, he'd ask me that all the time. We'd be out in the garage and I'd be helping him with something. Give me that knife I gave you. And you're like, oh, shit.
It's like the test.
Yeah. I'm like,
Little idiot.
well, I washed my wife, gosh damn wife, lost it. You know what I mean? You have that but that's something I didn't do.
You don't have it, huh?
Yeah, I didn't
How are you
have
going
it.
to cut the rope off your hands when you get tied up?
Exactly. So I had no idea what I was doing. Like when it came to prepping, I really loved the idea. I think it really made sense to me. I was the same as you. We had like the really cheap, basic 72-hour kits in our vehicles, both of our vehicles, right? But I didn't have any like real like EDC kits or bug out bags or anything like that. But the idea made sense, and that was about as far as it went. Yeah. Right?
And it was not like the bulk stuff I had was like flour.
Yeah.
It's like only flour and sugar, or, I didn't have a variety. It's like, I guess we'll just make bread the whole time we're trying to survive.
Didn't even have any yeast. It's going to be that unleavened bread
It's just been flour and sugar dry.
Not going to be really great.
So,
Yeah. So that's kind of where we were. And then like talking about like our mindsets about prepping, you know what I mean? Like how did we think about it? Because when we met, right, we kind of both like really quickly figured out that we both had that same either mindset or we enjoyed talking about that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it was weird because obviously with the video games, That's kind of how
and
it
I
came
don't know
out.
if that's like a common thing with all males. Or
I
just
don't
like,
know.
oh, survival would be greatest.
Yeah.
Or if we just happen to be on the same page.
Yeah.
But yeah, games definitely got me into the survival realm because it's like, you start out and you're trying to get wood and build a fire and shelter. And I'm like, it's pretty exciting. And,
It's super
and
cool.
so it's like, in real life, could I,
Yeah.
how could I do that?
Uh-huh.
And so,
Yeah, so like my mindset when we started, I was so super into politics back then. So I felt like I had a really good grasp on things that were like going on in the world. So that did make you think more about prepping when you're like into that type of stuff because you're seeing like the conflicts and the crazy crap that can be going on, right? And I loved the thought of survival and prepping. I loved the movies, the books, the games,
The
like
movies
all of
too.
it, the
Tons of good
TV,
movies.
that stuff. Just I freaking loved it. But there was just mostly an interest I never really had like thought of myself as a prepper or like said I'm gonna go out and like get this stuff and like really do it, right?
No, it was kind of an exciting thing that we were just like, it gives us an opportunity to get together and talk about like fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I don't know that I particularly was thinking, that I'm going to grow and learn more skills from this. More or less, it was kind of
It'd be fun.
gives us a scheduled time to get together and BS and talk about survival in a fun way.
Well,
so.
and as a lot of you know that we had a podcast before this and it was about video games, right?
Yeah.
Horribly unsuccessful.
And probably one of the most saturated things out there.
Not
is
the greatest.
Video games, pro gamers.
And so we were like, we'd got maybe 10 episodes in.
Like we had fun doing it, but we're like,
that was a blast.
What are we getting out of this?
Yeah. And so we're like, we got to find something else that is a little more of a niche that we both love, that we both want to talk about.
Useful.
And it's
'cause
useful.
The gaming thing was just not.
And it was a little
I
embarrassing.
didn't feel rewarding.
Right?
Yeah.
When you tell people, we got a podcast, what's it about? Video games?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true. It was
I don't know if it's much better now when we say prepping.
I know.
Oh, you're a psycho.
Yeah.
That's usually what people think, right?
You come out of your bunker today?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
from then, how has that changed up to today?
Yeah,
Like, to
5
this
years.
point now, after what we thought we were going to do to what we are at now.
Yeah. And which is crazy because I still don't feel like I'm a great prepper. Like, I don't.
I don't either. I always feel inadequate with my prepping.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about it all the time. We go over the plans, and I set up all this stuff, and I have all this gear, and I'm still like, man, if things really went south, would I be any better off?
Yeah, and
just
I
makes
think it
you-
might be worse for us because we host a prepping podcast because we're always thinking about it, we're always talking about it, and people expect us to do it.
Yeah.
Even though we've prefaced everything like we don't do this crap, we're casual preppers.
Yeah.
We're you know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
it's still like it makes you feel like, oh crap, I'm not good at this.
No.
You know?
I think there's a lot of preppers. So a lot of people out there, the ones that are like the hardcore preppers, I think they had the mindset that I used to have of like, this is all my stuff. And, I don't want you to have it.
Yeah.
I'll watch society collapse around me and then, it'll be great and I'll have a heyday. That's kind of the selfish thought process I had with surviving. And now listening to other listeners saying, thanks for helping me. I'm like, in a huge environment of, like we live, like our neighbors, the more prepared, more people are around you, the less stress on the whole system.
Yes.
And all of us.
So
you're
true.
not gonna have to worry about somebody trying to loot or, steal from you and, or take all of your supplies because they don't have any. It's just like you all feel more prepared.
Dude, it's so true. The other day, so on TikTok, I put a video of it, just kind of like quickly went through some of my preps, just that video of showing it. There's so many people that were like, it's you preppers that freaking make the stores that don't have any toilet paper anymore.
It's the opposite.
I'm trying to, I get so pissed off because it really makes me mad. I'm like, it is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Do you see how I have the toilet paper already? I don't have to go out and get it when you're an idiot and haven't got any. Like,
Right.
And that's the point. Like what Cam is trying to say. It's like the more people that we bring into that, the better off the people around them are, and they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And that changed a lot for me because I was before I was like, survival, let everybody die, and then I can go to the grocery store by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's more of like a combined effort of all of us needing to be more prepared.
Yeah. And I think at the beginning too, I was like thinking about it in like very certain terms, like I got to get water and I got to get this much water and I got this much food. Now it feels more like, even though I don't think I'm a great prepper, it's more like a lifestyle. It's like something that you're continually just doing.
Yeah.
It's not like I've got this checklist, now I'm a prepper, right? It's just like an
Exactly.
always thinking about it. You're always grabbing a few extra things at the store without really even thinking about it. You just do it now, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of to that point. Not saying I'm a good prepper, but
No, but I am too. That's the other thing. Is like when we go watch a movie or something. I'm always thinking, I'm like, well, what if this? I think of it completely different. Before I was like, that's entertaining.
Yeah.
That would suck. Now I'm like, what would I do?
Exactly.
Or if I see something on the news, I'm like, oh crap, am I prepared for this? Like,
I do too, man.
what if this happened?
So
or moved and affected us?
Yeah, me and my girls were watching Greenland the other day. You know where the asteroid comes down, and
Did you watch it again?
Yeah, we actually watched it.
I need
again.
to watch it.
So good.
I haven't even watched it yet.
It's really great. You got to see it. But it's just funny how even they think about it. They're like, "Well, we've got this stuff in the basement, Dad. We could just, you know what I mean?"
It's exactly what you want.
It is.
You need to think ahead.
And hopefully that like rubs off on them as they get older and they continue to think about it. You know what I mean? It's just a funny thing how it becomes like a way of life almost, right?
And I think that alone is one of the more important things that people just don't do. They're just like, think about at the last minute. And that's why they buy 5 billion things of toilet paper.
Exactly.
I don't know. Everybody else buying it. There must be a reason. It cures something.
Yeah, totally true. Well, it's even like with the kids thing, people are like, why are you scaring your kids talking about this type of stuff? You know what I mean? I'm like, it's the opposite, bro.
Yeah.
When we see a movie like that, they're thinking about the things that we have ready. Yeah. They're thinking about how we're prepared, and those people weren't even close, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's the opposite, and it's just a mindset that, a casual prepper gets into.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's far better off than letting them be careless about everything all the time.
Exactly, yeah. So a few things that have really changed for me from the beginning to now is like EDC is the biggest one probably for me. Like I don't think I've gone a day without a knife in my pocket for years.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. And I feel naked when I don't have it.
Right.
And I don't feel good when I'm naked. Just so you know. It's not a great feeling.
I'm going to put that out there.
I'm going to put that out there. I don't like to be naked.
Don't like.
It's not great.
Yeah.
But EDC kit.
Yeah, if I don't have gear close by, it's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, you start getting the heebie-jeebies
Yeah.
almost. You know what I mean? It's like I had to go to the city the other day, which is like 3 hours out, and I'm like, had to take a bag.
Where's my gun?
5.56. I had to take some clothes and stuff for overnight, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take my EDC bag and put clothes in there. So that's what I did.
I do that all the time.
You know what I mean? I'm like, so I can't. It just feels weird.
I always take my backpack, the one that I take back and forth between work. That has like my tablet in it and papers from work. I have flashlights. I have fire starting kit. I have all that stuff in there. And if I don't have that bag with me, I feel pretty naked. So.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird how those things become habit. And like I said, other things like stocking up the freezer and toilet paper and things like that.
Stock up the freezer with your toilet paper?
Yeah, I like it cool. I like it
bet that
cool
would
when I
feel
wipe
nice.
it. It's nice.
Oh.
Frozen. Yeah, I have a little freezer next to the toilet, actually. It's always chilled. Actually, that's not a
Chilled
bad
toilet
idea.
paper
And then you can have like a root beer in there, too.
Sounds like a delight. Make it better than,
Chilled toilet paper and root beer. Like you can make it an
Cure
afternoon.
those hemorrhoids.
Yeah, a nice
Use
little afternoon.
Chilled toilet paper. Ooh.
That's funny. Anyways,
So,
yeah, it's good.
where are we at?
Do we feel like experts? This is a very hard one for me to answer.
I think there's some people that think we're experts.
Yeah, and I
some
feel bad for them.
Totally know we are not at all experts.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that don't listen think we are.
Yeah,
The
probably.
ones that listen.
Regular listeners are like, I got these guys pegged. They are not experts in anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that's the appeal. I would hope that that's the appeal.
Yeah, we want to be commoners, we want to be.
We're like, we down with the common folk, talking with the waiters, hobnobbing with the cashier,
Yeah, we want to be the farmers that are parked in the middle of the road.
That's right.
Talking to, ignoring all the other traffic. That's
Exactly.
the type we want to be.
Oh yeah, those guys. I tell you.
Just stop in the middle of the road and they're chatting.
All the time.
The highways is like trying to go around.
Yeah, just waving
My
at
dad
people.
does that all the time.
I'm
He
sure.
even angles it somewhat so it's like blocks both lanes. What are you doing? There's people behind you.
Oh, that's
Anyway.
hilarious. It's so true though. Yeah, but I do like in no way do I feel like an expert about anything prepping, like at all.
I
Like,
don't
not
either.
even close.
I'm still not an expert on fire starting. Can't even use my ferro rod
Yeah.
perfectly every time.
We're still working on the speaking part of this whole thing, like talking to
Kobe's
people.
gotten
like,
it down.
I got
sure-
to talk to you.
My reading skills improved a little bit, but
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's like there's so much to prepping. There's so much to survival. There's so much to all of this that there's still so many things that I can't just spout off. And I'm really bad at it. Like my wife will say, "Hey, remember what you guys said in this last podcast?" I'm like, 10 minutes after, it didn't even happen in my head. Like I have no idea what I said or what happened. So that it goes with the things we're teaching and talking about. Like I lose it so fast.
there's those little fine details.
Yeah, I know I need food and water and medicine. Like I can tell anybody that, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty, it's really hard to remember for me.
It is. I think my big thing is like I feel a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like
It's all those Lay's
instead of-
potato chips.
Yeah. Instead of just having, like I said, I had just like a couple bags of spaghetti, flour, and sugar.
Spaghetti,
You know,
flour,
but now I'm like, I
Yeah.
got Coke and macaroni.
That's all you need.
number one.
Yeah,
And then, but I just like I know how to use this a lot more gear now.
sure.
And
Yeah,
I know what gear's useful, and I know like you need a variety of foods, and so it's made me just feel a lot more well-rounded in the
Sure.
But expert in any of those areas,
No.
absolutely not.
I do think
Water expert.
we're not experts at all, but I do think we have a certain way of relaying these messages that I think that kind of resonate with people. Like it's easier to take this advice from us sometimes than it is from just some bland like ex-military dude. You know what I mean?
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah,
at a-
it really is easier to take, and I think you remember it better.
There's
you know?
there's some of the things that we've come up with and laughed about, and I remember it around that time
because of that, right? Yeah. So,
so.
experts in no way do I feel like it.
No,
at all.
me either.
Yeah. So
Obviously.
this question I think is pretty interesting. Have we really defined and bought into casual prepping? So when we were starting the podcast, right? one of the hardest part about a podcast, what do you call it? What is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's it about? And we're like, we want to talk about prepping,
But we don't want to be the hardcore, military dude.
Yeah, and we don't.
The one that's like ex-Navy, and those guys have excellent information, but they're hard. You can't relate to them.
It's hard to relate to a dude that does that kind of
That
stuff.
have killed people.
Yeah. That's why no one relates to me. But it really is. It's hard. And so we're like, we got to come up with a name, and we got to come up with like an approach to it that makes sense to us and that feels a little more inclusive.
Yeah,
Right. That's kind of what we
exactly.
were thinking. Right. And so that's kind of where we came up with casual prepping. We had 50 different words that we were going to do, and I can't remember what the other ones were.
Yeah.
But casual is the one that sort of like hit us like right off the bat. That's it.
I still remember the typo. It's casual peeping.
Yeah, casual
That
peepers
probably
or
would have
something,
taken
yeah.
off. Oh, casual peepers.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that.
Oh, yeah, I want to do that. But yeah, I think, have we defined it? What is it? I think that's something that we have done pretty well in the last 5 years.
I think we get
right?
a little more serious with certain topics,
Mhm.
but and we always hopefully
Mm-hmm.
come off as this is important stuff and serious, but you don't need to freaking lose your mind over it.
Exactly.
Like you can take your time and get some of this stuff and
Yeah.
get yourself more prepared.
Exactly. Like it's prepping without the crazy. And the biggest thing is like helping other preppers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of our biggest gripes as we started is sometimes the
We
people.
got way more backlash of like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about.
You're right, bro.
You're right. We're trying to.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure this out, like with all of these other people, right?
Yeah. There's too many people in that category. Like, there's just too many people like that on the social media and forums. Not just with casual prepping or with prepping in general. It's just like you just blockade everybody trying to learn stuff because you're a dick.
Yeah,
And we didn't want to be that way.
No, we want to be the complete opposite. Like, I don't care I don't care if you are a Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
That's
good
great.
job.
Come
Thank
listen.
you.
Yeah,
Use some. Yeah, teach us some stuff.
I don't care if you wear a Proca protector and got a rooster tail, and you know what I mean. You're just the nerd of all nerds. that it's all good.
Rooster tail and apocryphal.
Yeah, I'm just and then maybe
Mixing
some glasses.
them all in there.
Yeah. But so for me, when I think about the casual prepping, like I think my favorite episode, maybe not the episode, but the concept was your personal apocalypse
For sure.
episode.
That's exactly right.
Because just the topic was exactly what casual preppers is.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's about what things are actually going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And, let's prep for those, but it's okay to talk about zombies.
Right.
You know?
If you prepare for an alien invasion, you lose your job the next day. You're going to be pretty ready. You're going to be pretty much.
Yeah,
you're going to be okay.
Who knows what bad things happen when aliens invade? Just the workforce is done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're going to be prepared.
Don't lose your job the next day.
Piss.
Well,
They
I got
abducted all the freaking. Boss was abducted, so
I got all prepped for the alien invasion. I just got a pink slip. Crap. Now what?
got laid off because the CEO got abducted.
Yeah. Gosh damn UFOs.
But yeah, you prepare for these crazy things just because it's fun. You're going to be prepared for simple scenarios.
Exactly. And so another thing that comes along with like the casual preppers and what it is the community.
For sure.
And that is by far for me the last 5 years the greatest accomplishment of Casual Preppers podcast.
I think so too.
Is the community, which is you guys listening.
Yeah.
Like so awesome.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even have imagined like you guys would be this cool.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like somebody sent us some t-shirts the other day of a stupid thing we said on the podcast the other day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like just because they thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I saw something else on one of the Facebook groups that somebody had some extra preps that they weren't going to use. And they said, hey, is anybody in my area? Somebody was. They met up. He gave them the preps.
That's
like,
so freaking amazing.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's...
I
agree. That's probably the best thing that we've created.
Yeah.
It's just... And that's what we hoped for is a community of, people that are getting prepared that aren't total dicks.
Exactly. And it's hard to find. Like, it's hard to find.
And I always think like the, this is stupid, but the murder hornets and things like that.
Yeah.
There's like those genuine a-holes and they go into a community and mess things up. But ours are kind of like the ones that just like attack and like get them out. And we don't have people trolling our things because
when they come in, they're done.
They are.
It's like Fred.
We're just
Remember
like
Fred?
And we're not, I don't feel like any of our, any of the communities like direct, offensive and nasty to them. They're just like, you don't belong here.
Yeah,
like,
this is not
that's
what
fine.
this is for.
You need to get out.
Yeah, yeah. So they don't last long in any of our community stuff. So it's freaking, like that
I
is
feel
the
like it's
best
a great
thing.
place to ask questions and talk about things. And
Exactly.
stuff, so.
Because when we act like idiots, like it's like, okay, we're just here to have fun and maybe learn a few things. We're not serious.
Yeah.
I mean, we're serious, but we don't take ourselves seriously, right? And so I think that rubs
Is
off.
this serious stuff? Yes.
Yes.
But do we,
Yeah.
obsess?
So to me, by far the best thing we've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, like if there's a long, drawn out issue that, people are making their own clothes from deer hides and stuff. The first thing I do when I see people is I'm pulling up the hook and salute.
Yeah,
and if they give it back,
yeah. We're going to embrace. It's going to be hugs and like maybe kisses on the cheek or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be great.
I don't know. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. Unicorns, rainbows,
Morale
butterflies.
is going to like just shoot through the roof.
Exactly.
I'm going to feel the safest.
Yeah, that hook hand salute's going to be a big deal. Like moving
Eat
forward.
Tashanka together down by the fire. It's going to be amazing.
Great. Somebody ought to write a song about that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So, like, what have we made an impact on listeners, and have they made an impact on us?
They have for sure on me.
Have they?
Yeah, like just the things that they share and that they're doing. It's just motivating for me. It's just like, they've learned something, and we've learned a lot from them. Like we've thrown a ton of stuff together because of a listener's suggestions or just comments that they've made. I'm like, that's a great idea. And I think I've probably taken way more than I've given. I guarantee you.
Oh, absolutely, man. And just the amount of messages that we've gotten over the years of just people who have like positively changed this or that, or they were ready for whatever happened. Obviously during COVID, we had, so many messages. I
Right.
couldn't even keep up with them. There were so many.
Right.
That
It was like
so cool.
The one thing is, I remember that one chick, remember, she emailed and she's like, I don't think you should be giving medical tips.
Oh, yeah,
And
sure.
was like attacking the whole fact of like safety pins and
Yeah.
pinning a tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, guess what? Like,
It actually helped.
it
somebody.
actually helps somebody that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, if you're looking for, ways to attack, you can always find them.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I feel like our listeners have like made that difference of there's no reason to be,
Yeah.
that kind of person. And,
Yeah, for sure.
and just helpful.
Well, and they've helped me. It's not easy to do a podcast every week on prepping.
Yeah.
Like for 5 years. Like I don't know how many episodes we've done, but it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
They help you like keep engaged in the process. Like if they're listening and they're commenting and they're talking back and about like this, we love this about this episode. That's like how you keep going, because if not, there's no way we would continue to do podcasts like we are. It's just too hard to do.
Yeah.
But when you guys, message us or comment, it's like, okay, I'm actually doing something that might be helping somebody. We'll do another episode to see how that one goes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, I
it's
agree.
just hard.
And to hear like people give us the, they call back to jokes or
Oh, yeah.
inside jokes. Like it's so amazing.
There's so many inside jokes in this
I know.
community. Like
it's so awesome. Like,
It's absurd almost.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like I really we need to get like a master list of casual preppers inside jokes.
I know.
Because there's got to be 100,
there's so many.
right?
And people pull them up all the time. And it
Yeah.
cracks me up.
Somebody out there.
Or they get some stupid little thing we'll say.
Yeah.
And they totally know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, it was just like that Instagram account. If you guys haven't followed it, go follow
meme one?
the Casual Preppers memes or whatever. Oh my gosh! Like after every episode, there's a new meme about something stupid we
It's
said.
like the Coke and macaroni
Yeah.
took like 20 seconds.
Like
and
how
they
the
cranked
hell?
out another one.
Like sometimes I think it's Cam. It's so fast. You know what I mean? I'm like, is he doing this? But
yeah.
I'm like, he hates social media. There's no way he's doing that.
It is true. It comes out super fast.
Yeah.
And Kobe he does amazing at answering a lot of you guys' questions. A lot of people probably think we're schizophrenic because
I know.
I'll answer and then Kobe, he either answers before me
Yeah.
it's hard to answer and know whether or not I'm
Yeah,
like,
so-
is Kobe answering this right
Yeah,
now?
it's hard.
Because we use the same account.
And
But
if we don't answer, I apologize. There's so many.
yeah.
There's
yeah.
like it's hard to get to all of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
I bet, yeah.
Okay. Take a bath and go to bed, wipe my butt with frozen toilet paper.
Oh, that sounds
Sounds
that's a
great.
night right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But COVID-19, this pandemic has brought many challenges to us.
Yeah.
And we rely on tech for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to keep it safe because maybe you're enriching uranium in your basement as we speak.
You could be.
How do you keep yourself safe? Online.
Yeah.
You use Surfshark VPN.
Maybe we ought to tell the Ayatollah of,
We should send them a
Iran.
casual prepper discount code. Hey,
Maybe-
sign up.
you want those nukes? You're going to have to figure this out,
We'll
boy.
keep your enriching going.
Yeah.
Once 2020 kicks up. But yeah, get yourself a virtual private network from Surfshark. You go online, gray man.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, no one knows who you are, where you're at. Do whatever you want.
Sounds awesome.
Shield your information from websites, online services, ads even. You don't have to worry about malware, phishing, all that obnoxious garbage. You get notified too if your email and password are leaked. It only costs you, this is what's insane to me. For 27 months, you can get all of your devices covered, no matter whatever device goes online. If it's a, Neo Geo or Sega Genesis that goes online
Dreamcast.
somehow. It's less than $60 for 27 months with our code Casual Preppers. That's $2.21 a month to protect your uranium
Do
today.
it. Uranium is really expensive.
If you don't even know what a VPN is and you're interested in trying it, 30 days. You can try it for 30 days and get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best deal out there to protect you online. I'm not even joking.
No.
Go to surfshark.deals/casual preppers. Try it for 30 days. And it's the cheapest, best, awesomest,
Yeah.
greatest ever.
Mhm.
You need
Get
to go
it.
and get it.
Go get it right now. Cam, how how have we changed our approach to the podcast since we started? Because that might be something people could be interested in. Because when we started, we weren't very good at podcasting.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still not very good at podcasting.
No.
But we feel more comfortable podcasting.
Yeah.
Right. So, how have we changed the approach, like as podcasters?
I think the hard part was, how do we get information out, and do we information heavy, or do we kind of use our own experience, and how do we slip jokes in there? That's where if you listen to our first couple, it was more of a regurgitation of information that we just found and read. And now I think that we use the information we've learned and just kind of mix it in with like real life stuff and funny stuff. And I think we've just kind of redirected it to where we're just like, this is fun, and let's just chitty chat.
For sure, yeah. It's more of a discussion these days, I think. The thing I remember about at the beginning, it was so easy as far as topics go because we'd never talked about anything.
That's
like
true.
the world was our oyster. Like we could talk about anything prepping because we had never talked about any of it.
No.
And
it
now
was
it's
all
like
new.
Now it's like after 100 and so many episodes, like we've talked about it all. Like ad nauseum sometimes. We've talked about everything. And so to me, that is one of the hardest things, is to keep those topics fresh. And at the beginning, that was easy. Now that's pretty hard to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
It's been. So coming up with new ideas, I think, like we've hit those subjects so hard that we've kind of creatively, tweaked it a bit. And so
that's the thing. I think
it's been difficult, but I think it's been more useful.
That's the thing I think we've actually done a pretty good job at, is if we're going to do an episode about something that we've already done, we do our best to hit it at another angle, or like at a different, like talk about it in a different way, right?
Yeah. And we've had time to kind of play with the ideas and apply the ideas, and then it's easier to talk about them down, now rather than before.
And maybe you guys, the listeners, would rather us just go over those topics again and again, and maybe we should
I think
do it
some
more often.
probably do.
Yeah.
But too bad. We're having fun.
This is what we do.
And that's kind of where mindless banter just kind of spun off. Is like,
dude, I know.
It's so fun to do this.
And
sometimes I don't want to give you any information that's useful.
I know, huh?
I just want to talk about some funny stuff. So.
Well, I think that when we started it, I think we were kind of both getting into like that slump. We're like, oh gosh,
yeah,
we've done
bags.
Yeah,
episode 15.
If I talk about water one more time, so we needed something to kind of give us a morale boost, like us, like you and I.
That's true,
and that's kind of
probably more why.
Yeah.
And some people I know love it, some don't like it.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
We
you
have
don't
fun,
have to listen.
And it'll be there.
Yeah, but that mindless banner has been so much fun.
Yes, like,
you know what I mean?
I never thought I'd get so into conspiracies. At first, I'm like, I don't want to talk about conspiracies.
Now
it's a touchy subject.
It is.
And it's super funny.
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. Now it's like all I want to talk about is conspiracies.
Me too. And you may think we believe them all.
Yeah.
I don't even care. It's freaking funny.
It is so much fun.
And this last 2020 has created like 1,000 years worth of conspiracies to go over. So
it's never ending.
Yeah.
And then talking about like, there are some topics that we haven't yet hit.
Yeah.
That are pretty popular in prepping, or that maybe we've just hit once, like, bug out vehicles and guns.
And there's some,
And there's some other topics. Like, we still have a list of like 50 topics that we haven't hit. It's either we don't want to do them or we don't know how to do them yet. And so we might get to them at some point, but we kind of do what really interests us. And I think that's how we keep engaged in it, because we could really do some stuff on like, more stuff on gardening, or
that was
inventory. That actually wasn't a bad episode. Or inventory. Like, we haven't done one on that.
There's some real dry stuff.
It's hard for us to tackle it.
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard.
And
to
then
tackle.
there's those subjects that are real. They have the real strong, opinionated people that are like, maybe they are experts on it. Maybe they build their own guns, but I'm just like, I don't know if I want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
How have we changed the way we prep since we started?
Yeah, and we kind of already did talk about this a little bit.
We did.
But I think Cam and I both talked about this, is
we did
right after we started, I kind of became a little bit of a panic prepper.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Something would happen and suddenly I'm like, oh, fudge, I need potassium iodide or something like that. And I would just go out and panic buy it, right? That doesn't happen as much now.
It doesn't.
Like,
We've talked about, we get in those little like times when I'm like, man, I need to buy more.
Yeah.
You just get in this little like prepper surge and you're just like, well, I got to get way more stuff.
Yeah.
And then other times I'm like, man, I'm good.
Yeah, everything's fine. It's like I think I focus on some things that maybe I wouldn't have before, like financial preparedness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Or I've recently found a love for emergency plans, which is so stupid. But you know what I mean? Like I hadn't
This
even
is
thought
good.
about. Oh gosh, did you say emergency plan?
Nitty gritty.
Yeah, we'll throw that on a bed tonight before we get going. You know what I mean? Like
Let me read you our plan. Let me read you plan A, plan B.
possible disasters. Let's talk about it. Where we gonna meet? Communication plan.
Possible disasters. Everything ends too fast.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, you know, the things that I focus on are probably a little bit different. Less focus on gear now. You know, gear. I mean, it's always fun, but you get
It's the
so
sexy
much
part
of
of prepping, but then
it.
you're
It
like,
is. Yeah.
can't eat my backpack. Got 25 of them.
Yeah. If I could, though.
I know, an edible backpack.
Yeah, that would probably work.
You
You
rip
rip
off
off a
supplies
piece,
and just start chewing on it like jerky.
like a teriyaki backpack or something. You know.
black licorice flavor.
Oh, not that.
No.
Ew, I'd die. I'm
like
not eating black licorice.
Really?
Oh,
You
it's
don't
the
like-
worst flavor on the face of the
No,
planet.
it's great.
I'd rather eat like freaking Mountain
Eggs.
House eggs for the rest of my life because black licorice is the worst
Really?
flavor.
I like it. I don't know. I could see the straps being like flavored black licorice.
Like Nerds rope. That's what I want it to be. You know?
Those nerds won't last.
No, they won't. But still, though, it'd be good. I don't know.
That'd be great.
You know, when I first started, I rarely worked out, and I hadn't thought about self-defense like for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Now it's a huge part of like my prepping in my
Yeah,
life.
your
is
life is
jiu-jitsu.
huge,
Yeah, it's a big thing. And then again, going back to your personal apocalypse, that's where everything comes back to for me is those things, job loss,
Right.
you know, your truck breaking down or whatever, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of led me to build on the skills that I know and have.
Yeah.
Like my medical training, like the CME stuff that I have to do and stuff. It's like all wilderness medicine stuff, like an emergency medicine stuff. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like that would be more useful in these off the grid scenarios. So
Oh, yeah, for
it's
sure.
just kind of tweak what you know. And so, yeah, from the way I prepped since then, it's like now I feel like I've built on what I know and then I've kind of included more skill. So
Yeah. Completely agree.
sprinkled real good.
Yes, you do. So after so many episodes and like so many topics on prepping, how prepared do you feel now? Like, do you feel like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
I'm a lot more confident I can make it past 72 hours.
Yes. That's
Those-
an accomplishment. It
and
took
I
5
even
years,
still
but you're
have
there.
Those kits, they're like 35 years old.
I think I still have them
Pretty
too.
sure they're
sitting
all
in my garage.
powder inside now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have a plan and I have a plan for when my supplies start running low and things like that. And that was something I never, ever thought about. I'm just like, wow, my in-laws have a bunch of food. I'll go over there
Yeah.
for dinner.
For sure.
But yeah, it's kind of just, I feel now that I definitely am going to be better off than a lot more. And that's not like I'm proud of that. I wish more people would get into it and be more prepared, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to be one on the end of
Oh, I do too.
making it a lot further without going to the grocery store every day.
Yeah.
Things like
Yeah,
that.
and for me, it kind of depends on the day. Sometimes I'm like, I'm pretty prepared. Like, I don't need to do anything, you know, something. But then something happens like this pandemic, and I'm like, oh,
There's
frick.
things that scare you still.
I'm not prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an idiot. I'm not a prepper. I'm nothing, you know?
Yeah. What have I been doing for 5 years?
What have I been doing? But I do feel like with whatever may happen, like whatever SHTF event comes, I have a pretty good grasp on like the blueprint to get through an event, right?
Right.
Like
That's true.
like kind of like the general, like, okay, this is how I would make it through pretty much anything.
Right.
Because, you know, it's all the basic same stuff, right? And then you kind of learn that you're never going to be fully prepared for anything, like
No.
or everything or anything. So
Yeah.
you just got to do the best you can, you know?
I think the ones that think they're fully prepared for everything are probably the worst to be around.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. And speaking about that, like what have we learned about preppers, like in general, over the last 5 years or so? You know what I mean? And And one of the biggest things is like every prepper has their opinion and they want to tell you about it.
That's true.
They do. And we've learned to largely ignore them.
Yeah.
That's the only way
The
for us to get
strongly
through.
opinionated ones were like,
Yeah.
no thanks.
Because seriously, like if we didn't ignore them, we would have been done in the first 3 episodes. Like it
Yeah.
would have been over.
I have found that there's a lot more people interested in prepping than I ever thought there were.
Oh yeah, that's a good
It's
true.
just like, wow,
Yeah.
you actually want to know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Exactly.
Because I get asked, all the time about certain little things. Should I store this? Should I do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Go listen
Ask
to Kobe.
somebody else because I don't know. I'm not an expert.
But it's just like, it's kind of good to see that I think there are more people interested in it. But again, there's still that fear of like, I'm not a prepper. I'm not a weirdo.
Yeah.
But,
Well, like I've learned is like every prepper has different ideas of what prepping is and like how to do it. And that's fine. And that's actually good, I think.
yeah.
And that casual prepping is not for everybody at all.
No.
Like there's a certain segment of people that take to the things that we talk about, and there's a certain segment that pisses them off to no
Right.
end.
You don't toy around with prepping.
Yeah, you don't toy around with it. And there's that gigantic segment of preppers that they focus, like their huge focus is on the tactical side of stuff, guns and armor plates,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Like my brother-in-law is that way to a T.
And that's awesome. That's great, but it's just
He
not
has
for us.
amazing stuff, and he has.
Yeah.
But I'm like, have you really prepared for when you don't need to use any of that?
Yeah, which is most of the time.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. But most preppers
And
are
if you're
pretty cool.
going to be using all that, you're probably going to get killed. So
I know I will.
Yeah,
if I
me
have to go out and
too.
shoot people, like I'm dead. Like most
Right.
people are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, most preppers are pretty cool though. Like most of them are.
I think so too.
Like
Like when we went to that prepper con, I was like, there's some pretty sweet
It's
people
cool.
out here and
yeah,
some cool stuff.
it was way fun. Yeah. So how about keeping the podcast fresh and keeping prepping fresh?
Yeah,
That's a hard one.
yeah, we try and keep it fresh.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, kind of like we said, we kind of throw in those ideas that are just funner to talk about. Like, who wants to talk about storing your beans and making a shelf that has
Yeah.
all of your stuff to cycle in and out versus talking about, being prepared for a zombie apocalypse, apocalypse and stuff. It's just funner to talk about those things. So I think keeping it fresh is to kind of throw in some of those weird scenarios, but it always kind of goes back to the things that are most important.
It does.
It just blends in.
Yeah.
So,
Keeping it fresh is the hardest thing.
It
After
really
this
is.
many episodes, there's most, I mean, when we started, there was, 4 or 5 other maybe prepper podcasts, maybe 5 or 6, I don't know. Most of them are done. They've stopped.
Yeah.
Right? Or they've
because
started new
those
ones.
topics just don't really.
No.
You can only talk about beans and shelves and
Bug out
totes.
bags and like how many times do you talk about them, right?
Right.
And another thing that does kind of work against us and works for us a little bit, mostly against us probably, is that we don't do guests.
Yeah.
And when you bring on a guest,
I agree with you there.
when you bring on a guest, even if you're talking about bug out bags, you've got somebody else in there, another opinion and like another way to look at it. That would be another way to keep it fresh. We just don't like to do it,
no.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're stuck with us every episode.
No.
You know what I mean?
You kind of know that we're not going to change it up a lot.
No, yeah. I mean, we have done a few guests here and there, but that would probably help keep it fresh.
Yeah.
But we don't do it.
But maybe not.
But it's just us. I keep going back to like those.
We bring our wives on, and what more do you want?
And what else can we do? We'll go back to those few episodes we did a couple of years ago, maybe like about civil defense and about continuity of government. Like those were like in the prepping genre, but different, and they were so much fun for us.
I mean, maybe you were bored with them, but like I learned so much about it. I was like super fascinated. I'm like, it's like a history lesson.
Yeah,
It's so
and I've
cool.
never heard that on another prepper podcast before, So those kinds of things help us keep it fresh, and hopefully it keeps it fresh for you guys. I don't know.
Right.
Might not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With some of the themes we come up with every topic, research, discuss, like,
Yeah.
what do you, I don't know. That kind of goes into how do we throw in a variety, right?
Well, I think it's I guess talking about this is like we've done so many episodes and there's such a wide range of things like preparing for asteroids, preparing for what else have we done? Wildfires or power outages. It's funny how the themes, they all come back to the same stuff no matter what we're talking about, right? So that's food, water, fitness, self-defense, medical, first aid. Every single topic that we've talked about comes back to the same thing.
They always do.
There's always like a little extra list for each one of those that you might need. Maybe some like gas mask or some, something for nuclear war or whatever it is. But like there's this core thing that's in every freaking one that we do.
Right.
It's food, water,
so
fitness.
maybe you don't want to prepare for your personal apocalypse. You don't want to even think about it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to prepare for, civil defense because it freaks you out.
Maybe.
Prepare for a volcano. Even, you're going to have
Same
the
stuff.
Same stuff.
Same stuff. And that's just
Your
something.
body still needs food and water.
Yep.
And you need medical skill. And so it's just like, the themes are usually just to kind of spice up.
Yeah.
The basics.
It's the seasoning to the meat and potatoes that are in every episode.
We got listeners like, what the hell? We've been talking about the same crap.
It's every episode.
Why are we listening to this?
And it's hard because like we get to those parts in the episodes and like we've talked about before, have your water supply.
Yeah, we kind of push that at the end.
Yeah, it's like, but you got it. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah. But we do talk about, it does come back to those same things. But every week I'm excited to talk about it because there's just these things that come up. And
I know, yeah.
We may go off subject a lot, but I think that's what makes it fun for me.
Absolutely.
It's just like, that's, a funny way to think about it. And, But,
But yeah, that's, I think, something that we've
trying to
learned.
drive home the regular stuff.
I think that's something that we've learned throughout the years is that there's the basics and it applies to every SHDF scenario.
Yeah.
So if you can get the basics, you're freaking good, dude. You're doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
think
agree.
about that. So this one is a little,
It's a little
more-
emotional,
a
touchy.
little esoteric, a little bit kind of out there. What have we learned about life in general doing a podcast for 5 years?
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's a good thing to ask because, this is fun. It's entertainment and, it's prepping, but it has changed some things about life in general for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole fact that life can be taken pretty easily.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Just simple things that it just kind of freaks me out of like this pandemic could have affected all of us or half my family and could have lost a bunch or, it
That's
just
so
makes
true.
you think of like, holy crap.
Because like, it's funny that you say that because when the pandemic was starting, and before we knew what it was and I was freaked out.
I
right?
was too.
And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not worried about this. And I'm like, well, look, I've talked about this a lot. I've thought about this a lot.
Scariest scenario.
It could
and
be
it's
bad.
happening.
It could be bad. So, I don't know. That's just something over the years. You understand the seriousness of some of these scenarios that some people may not.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also learned that everyone's actually an expert on every subject.
Especially on Facebook.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know so many people that did
many
social media knew everything.
It's great though. I'm glad they're there giving us all the advice. The biggest thing for me, that this is going to sound so like cheesy motivational, but if there's like anything that you want to do, like if there's something you've been thinking about, freaking go do it.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like you just don't know what's going to happen. Never in 1,000 years would we have thought that we would continue to do this for 5 years. There would actually be a little bit of money involved somewhere.
Yeah.
There would be, big, huge changes, for me, especially in my career for it. Or there would be all of the people we've met, and because we decided we're going to get on the mic, we're going to hit record, and we're going to do it. Because most people just don't.
No.
You know what I mean? You just don't do it.
I still remember the day we first talked about doing a podcast. We were in Glenwood Springs, remember?
Yeah.
And me and you just went to the restaurant just kind of to drink.
to drink
lemonade.
raspberry lemonade.
But it's funny because I was thinking about, I'm like, man, I go to a job every day and I do this and that and it's good. But I'm like, I feel like I love hanging out and talking about stuff. And then like some of these ideas and things that you just talk about are just fun. Everybody loves to just hang out with their friends and just, and just shoot the, shiz. And I was thinking, I'm like, I've thought about it before because I used to do like these little videos with my friends when I was younger just to have fun. And then it's funny. We went out and Kobe had mentioned, I'm like, what do you think about doing a podcast? And I'm like, man, that does sound freaking fun. And luckily, I mean, Kobe had experience with music and recording. And so it definitely gave us a little, but I think anybody could just go out there.
Yeah.
If you want to try it,
do it.
There's no reason you can't, you know.
You're going to die.
Look at everybody right now. Everybody's pro gamer.
Exactly.
Recording and YouTube experts.
I know. It's like, you're going to die. Just do it.
Right.
Everybody's going to die. You might as well go try it.
You're going to offend people.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk smack on you and tell you you're an idiot. Just expect it. It's fine.
Yep. That's one thing that I put down. Like, don't take in, you'll listen to the naysayers, but don't just realize it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't.
It affected me a lot more at first. It did. I was really butthurt about some of the comments. I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. And that's exactly what they're wanting to do. And I'm telling you, they're freaking lowlifes that are just, they haven't succeeded at anything.
No.
So they just troll and they just try and destroy.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
I remember at the beginning, we'd get
great advice. Just do it.
Bad comment or a bad review. It would affect me for a week. Like, I would think about it. It would I'd have a pit in my stomach. Like, oh.
Well, it's like you did put all this effort in and people are, trash it. And it's going to happen.
Yeah. But now,
I just
laugh at it.
I know you're not doing anything yourself.
It doesn't matter.
Good job, keyboard commando.
Yeah, so just keep doing what you like, and there's going to be other people that like it. We would have never made it past 10 episodes if we listened to naysayers. Like, we would have been done, right?
Yep. And the fact that, like I said before, a lot more interested in survival and prepping than I ever thought. It's just like...
For sure.
You get talking about it, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like... So, anyway.
So, and another thing along those lines, do what you want to do, but try new things too. For me this last year that has really it's blown my mind is I never thought in 1,000 years I'd like to do anything in the martial arts, ever.
Right.
I thought it, honestly, I kind of thought it was stupid. I really did. And now, if I didn't have jujitsu, I would be a dead person. I would die. I have to have it. So, try new things because, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that wouldn't have come. The only reason I think I said yes to it, well, there's a couple reasons. One is because it was my brother-in-law. He's a good dude, and he's like, look, come try it. And my kids were doing it. Yeah. But the other one was this is probably good for prepping and for the podcast. You know, it's self-defense. It's fitness. I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
And a lot of things I've done that for that reason.
Exactly.
And then
right?
Being pretty in love with it.
So try those things because they could pay huge dividends down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just try them.
I think it's kind of helped me with the understanding of certain things that people do and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Where, for example, when we did the rookie and I learned how to hunt, big game and why we hunt. And I just saw a different side of that. My mom's always been stupid hunters are killing all the animals.
Yeah.
It's not like my family was anti-hunter, because we'd hunt small game and stuff like that. But my mom had that, don't kill the big animals, but it all is good. It's a skill that I seriously can't even express how thankful I am to have learned how to do those things that I never ever would have done. Ever.
No, you wouldn't have, right?
There's just no way I would have done that.
And it doesn't even matter. It didn't even have to be hunting. It could be anything. But you went and did something, and you listened to somebody who does it.
And that's
as a
the big
passion.
thing is listening.
Yeah, listen.
People don't listen.
It's true.
They hate to be told something they don't know. My kids are in this right now. I'm just you need to learn. That's the part of your life that is important right now.
Yeah, so it's kind of an open-mindedness thing. Be open-minded.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? And I've become in the last 5 years, way more open-minded on a lot of different things.
Right.
On 1,000 different things. And a lot of it was because of the podcast and, all of you people out there and your comments, oh, okay, I can see that. I should be more open-minded to those things. But like Cam said, with hunting, he'd never done it. He thought it was kind of stupid. He tried it. He's like, oh, this actually isn't stupid.
No, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, even if he doesn't ever do it again, he did it.
Right.
And he understands.
I have interest in doing it again. I really do.
Yeah.
Especially bow hunting. I feel there's just, I don't know, there's a connection to nature. It's just so, I can't even explain. It sounds super cheesy.
Well, you'll go watch the film because you'll get it if you watch the film, I think.
It's just a different, it's just a part of life. And it's I don't know, you just appreciate it a lot more. So.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Anything else on that, Cam, on that one?
No, I think that's,
Good.
No.
So, have you learned anything about yourself over the past 5 years doing the podcast?
I've learned about myself
Yeah. About yourself.
that I'm being watched by drone birds.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Every single
That's
day.
so true. I've learned that I love conspiracies. Like,
That's
holy
like I
crap,
mentioned.
I love them.
I know.
Even if I don't believe it, even in
I
the
don't
slightest.
believe most of them,
No.
but some of them are really interesting, and
Love it.
and I think that there's total reason for the conspiracy because I think they're probably true, but
Yeah.
it's just fun, and it's fun to see people get all riled up about them. Like that's what probably is the most. It's just like, I'm not here to prove it wrong or right. I just think it's entertaining to talk about it. It's an interesting subject. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but yeah, that I grew a lot of interest there.
Yeah.
And I think overall of all the things, what the biggest thing from all of this is it came down to like planning.
Yeah.
Just like forethought on, what if, like, I don't think many people think a day ahead,
No.
or
Or an hour ahead.
it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, look ahead at what things could come and just be ready for them. And that's, I've changed in that way and learned for myself. I really wasn't planning much ahead of anything. I was just going to work and
Well, I
getting
think
a
that's
paycheck.
kind of the crux of self-reliance is like looking ahead, like what do I need in the future if something happens,
Yeah.
right? As a prepper, that's what you should be doing.
Right.
That's a good lesson to learn, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've learned that I don't really like when people I know listen to the podcast.
I don't either.
I don't, but I
When
want
a patient says it, I'm like, you want
Yeah.
to see the doctor? Because
yeah,
you don't trust anything I'm going to say.
but I want everyone else on the entire planet to listen.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird contradiction I have in my head. If I know them,
So true. It's
I
so
don't want them
funny.
to listen. If I don't, freaking listen every day. Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a weird thing. That
Yeah, it's weird when somebody, especially two completely different things I do.
yeah.
It's like,
I know. Huh?
wait, you
Yeah.
talked about chasing Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna lance a boil on my back.
Yeah, it's hard to swallow sometimes.
It's like,
The dichotomy of Cameron. There's a lot to it,
yeah.
Cam, what are some of the this is the last one. What are some of the favorite items that you've received or tested over the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Because that's fun. Because we've been such
We've
gear
been given
whores.
so much stuff,
Yeah.
and I never had any clue of what kind of awesome stuff existed to
Yeah.
make life a lot easier.
Yeah, dude.
Like survival a lot easier. Like I always thought it was just like find you a scout ferro rod and and use a Bic lighter and.
Yeah.
But no, there are some amazing things that would make survival way more comfortable.
For sure. Yeah.
So you should check into it. I love my survival belt, the slide belt.
Oh yeah.
Not because not only because it has a knife and a flashlight in it, and it's pretty cool, but I've used that belt for so many things.
Yeah.
Because it'll cinch down. It's a tourniquet. I haven't had to do that, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
But I've tied things down with it. Like my kids, I've strapped them into a swing. I'm worried they're going to fall out of. It just has so many uses, and it's pretty cool to show off.
Well, and I think the cool part of it, it's super practical. It's like just a belt.
It's something that you always need.
Yeah, you use it, and it's like it serves its purpose as a belt, but it also has all these other cool things that it does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like a
Yeah,
show off prepper thing.
I agree. I like that.
That's one of my favorite things.
BioLite Solar Home 620 it's like my favorite prep, I think. And
It's amazing.
I need to stop talking about it so much, but just for like the power outages and even a long-term SHTF situation, you have your lighting situation covered.
Yeah.
Like in almost your entire house. Like it's so cool. So that's one of my favorite items that I've gotten.
And my thing was like my BioLite fire pit. And that's not, it's not an essential item that I would bug out with because it's big and bulky, but the BioLite tech in general,
it's great.
Those guys made it. They've made stuff to give people power in Africa and things like that, but it's useful in SHTF and in a blackout or anything like that. It's like this gear is good. It's tested. Half of it can regenerate its own energy. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, the camp stove too is awesome. The headlamps are awesome.
Yeah.
BioLite makes great stuff.
Yeah, and I was
really.
I'm like I said, like a flashlight headlamp snob, and
Yeah,
when I
you
saw
are.
BioLite was bringing one out, I'm like, oh come on, stick to your fire pit,
Yeah.
and your cook stoves and stuff. And they made my favorite headlamp.
It's
So I was
crazy,
like-
huh?
Anyway, so
The Leatherman Skeletal, I carry it every day, pretty much every day.
Yeah.
It's something that
I thought I'd lost it and panicked about it, but
I'd never been a huge Leatherman or even a multi-tool guy until I got the Skeletal. It's just the right size. It has just the right amount of stuff, and it's a Leatherman. I mean,
you probably use it all the time.
I use it every day.
Yeah,
every single
funny.
day. It's crazy. So that one to me has been a huge, a nicely huge thing that I love bigly, very muchly. Ginormously.
That's good.
And then the last one, I just recently got this one. It was the Dango wallet. And I freaking, do you have the Dango? Oh, you do.
I freaking
Is it the
love
same
it.
one?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I can't get enough of this thing.
I did not ever have any interest in it.
Yeah.
It sat in my little tin.
Uh-huh.
And then my phone.
So yours is a little different than mine, right?
Isn't-
So mine has the metal piece.
No, it does.
Oh, yours has the metal?
Mine's black.
Yours is black. Oh, cool. Dude,
'Cause
freaking love it.
Because I would always have like a wallet on the back of my phone, and
Yes.
it's just bulky
Yeah.
and it's not very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got all these cards, for dicks and things like that.
6 points, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I've seen this, and I saw you started using it, and I'm like, I'll give it a try. I freaking love it.
Dude, it is. I've used so many wallets. This one is by far the best wallet
so
I've
weird.
ever used.
I never thought that I would like it.
Yeah.
And I carry
And
it
it's
all
just,
over
it's
now.
good looking. It's functional.
It
It's,
is.
It's still small enough that it doesn't bother me. Like the leather bands are great. Which one is this? Do you remember the model number?
I can't remember.
I'll have to find it, guys, and let you guys know, because this is been my favorite. There's actually a new
So there's
Dango
that's how
coming
I'm
in the
interested.
battle box. So
I'm gonna have a
excited.
selection of tactical wallets now. And then my other thing is, people get annoyed about the whole subscription box thing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Battle Box,
Mhm.
I would not have known
Yeah.
even, I like 10% of the gear I know.
Yeah.
Like they really do a good job of getting you a variety. Like if you just don't have time to look for yourself, you don't know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
put it on them.
Yeah. I think
And I'm not saying this because
Yeah.
they're a sponsor. I really am saying this because they have
Yeah.
amazing freaking stuff in their boxes.
And it kind of opens your mind to different stuff that you would never think about.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Right?
So that to me
Yeah.
has been like, of all the things that we've gotten, I've been grateful for, you get a variety of stuff from them, but just them in general, they
Yeah.
put good stuff in and stuff I've never seen. Like,
Yeah.
they obviously try hard to get those, but like you said, this kind of broadens your scope of like survival gear. It's like,
For sure.
I never thought of having this, or this makes things way easier. And pretty
love
cool
it.
stuff.
Anyways, that's the last 5 years of podcasting, all in an hour podcast.
Painful hour,
Just
probably.
for-
Oh my gosh.
Probably. I hope you guys got something out of it, because it was fun for us to do it.
Yeah,
It was actually kind of fun.
it was. Yeah, made me pick my brain. It's like, man, I
Yeah.
did learn some stuff through the
Yeah,
last
for
5
sure.
years. That wasn't a waste of space.
And guys, we are always open to suggestions for podcast topics. Just send them in. Just,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Even if we don't respond, we're going to see
Yeah.
them. We're going to see them.
Maybe not be so specific like
Yeah.
Kobe said.
Yeah. You make them as broad as possible. Please don't ask us how you should survive. You know what I mean? Exactly.
What did you say? Like a Georgian man that
Yeah.
makes $56,000 a year.
Yeah,
has 7
37
kids.
years old, has 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy, a dog.
Make an episode
cat.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay, on you? No.
Guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Taco Park.
Oh, not prepared.
The only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use code Casual Preppers. Get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's tack pack. Head to tackpack.com. Use our code Casual Preppers. Free bag of EDC gear. I'm all in.
Jeez.
Just give it to me, because
They're losing money there.
they're losing money and you're making money somehow.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
Just get a bag of money.
Yeah, a free bag of money sent with your first order.
That'd be attractive.
My PIN code to our bank account with your first order, basically.
Join us. 50% stock.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So just on the medical tips, these are just the basic things that I would learn if I didn't know anything about medical. If you knew you were going to rely on your own medical skill,
Sure.
these are the things that I would
Oh, good.
Learn how to know.
I'm going to write this down.
Learn how to know. Learn how to do and know it well.
I got to learn how to know this.
Start using
Can't figure out
that.
how to know it.
You kids need to learn how to know. If you want to learn something. Can't be stupid. You got to learn how to know.
Got to learn how to know. You can't just know.
Kind of makes sense.
It does.
You need to learn how to know. Open your ears.
If you don't know, you got to learn how to know.
That's the first step to learning is to learn how to know. I'm not getting anything.
Some people can't be taught good. Learn how to know.
I wonder how many people just stop listening. I'm done. These guys
You guys got to learn how to talk.
So number one, you really need to learn more about cleaning and dressing wounds.
Okay.
Because it can be complicated and it's hard to know, like, does it need to be too wet? Does it need to be too dry?
Is that too wet?
Because wound management is like super complicated.
Yeah.
Most of you will be dealing with like really basic wounds, but you never know. You know, you could be dealing with an open wound that takes weeks to heal.
Sucking chest wound. Those are great.
Yeah. You just need to learn how to, like, what's the proper way to change the bandages. And you can find it online. I'm not going to do it right now. Okay.
Okay.
Learn how to dress a wound. Number two, learn how to make a splint properly. Like, if you broke your forearm, do I splint my wrist only? My left finger? Learn how to properly stabilize the joint above and below. That's as basic as that. And use what, know what materials will help. If you only have a stick and gauze, that's fine.
Yeah.
But learn how to use a sling and a splint. That's the number two thing. Number three, CPR. Don't look past CPR. You may be doing compressions on somebody who got their head blown off.
I don't look at that. That's magic to me, CPR.
So some of us have probably learned CPR, 5 years ago. It's changed. It's more efficient to do more compressions quicker and not as much focus on the breathing. So
is it like 30 and 2 now or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
You know what? I forgot.
Yeah, it's me too.
It changes.
It changes
so
too much.
Look at it. You need to know how to do CPR because it can.
1,000 compressions, 1 breath. This is not medical advice.
Yep. Number 4, like, as simple as it sounds, like the Heimlich maneuver. Learn how to do it well because people.
I performed Heimlich's maneuver on him.
Choking scares me to death. Like, I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
It's not funny at all when
No.
someone chokes.
What's funny about it, and it's not funny, is like if I'm in like some environment where somebody starts choking, they're like, cam. It's like, I'm not an expert at the Heimlich maneuver. All of you know how to do this.
Yeah.
It's just funny because people kind of panic. And if you know what you're doing with that, could you imagine, like, in a ship, you've survived 8 weeks, the world's destroyed, and you choke on a piece of steak?
You choke on an MRE by yourself, sitting next to the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fall in the fire, burn your face off.
Looks signs of a struggle.
There's just signs of a struggle. Someone left here in a big hurry. These old guys don't leave the house without their hair.
Someone left. This is the way he says all that.
I know.
Number 5, treating shock. And that can be from, somebody injured, somebody witnesses something. Like, you need to know how to treat shock.
Somebody sees you naked.
Yeah. Oh,
That's just shocking.
passes out. Pull a blanket over.
Whoops.
So, it's just all the basics, elevating the legs and putting a blanket on them. It will save them.
Yeah, okay.
And so those are the 5 steps, or basic.
To happiness.
Yeah. 5 basic medical things that
I like it.
Everybody should know to do on their own.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you all for listening.
We'll practice the Heimlich maneuver tonight.
Heimlich's maneuver is on the list. Appreciate you guys.
Heimlichs.
Yeah, Heimlich maneuver. Stay survived.